Hello, everyone. So, in this new drama, our male lead is named Tae-hung, and our female lead is named Haeun-jin. Both of them were living completely settled lives. They were introvert types, the kind of people who enjoy their own quiet world. And along with that, they had built their own home and their own comfortable little comfort zone. But then, someone comes and attacks this comfort zone. And that someone is a super cute baby. A baby who is about to turn their peaceful lives into a complete disaster. Yes, a tiny baby with the power of a natural hurricane. But how does this baby enter their lives? Well, that's a long story.
Here, I'd like to request you to subscribe my channel. It's just a click for you, but it means a lot to me. Thank you.
Story begins like this. First, we are shown Tae-hung. His hobby and his profession were the same. He was a photographer, and he truly loved his work. On the other side, we see Haeun-jin. At that time, she was doing different part-time jobs, trying to save up some money. She looked like someone living a struggling life. And whenever the rainy season came, she would eat something warm and comforting. Because honestly, rain plus food is basically therapy. Here, her sister was also with her. It was clear that these two sisters loved each other deeply. They were each other's only family. One day, Haeun-jin finds something inside her sister's handbag, a proposal ring. The moment she sees it, she understands that her sister's boyfriend has proposed, and that boyfriend's name was Woo-jin. He was a cop. Haeun-jin immediately goes to meet him and says, "Can you explain something to me? How did you propose to my sister without my permission? And why didn't you even tell me? What did you think, that my sister has no one? I'm her family. I'll play the role of her mom and dad. If you want to marry her, then let's arrange a proper formal parent meeting first." Meanwhile, we are shown Tae-hung again. He had gone out with his friends to a party, but there was another photographer there, a senior photographer, and he constantly bothered Tae-hung. With his raw street talent, was performing even better. That senior photographer gets jealous and says bitterly, "You just got lucky. You'll lose later." After that, Tae-hung drinks, and the next morning when he wakes up, he slowly remembers the chaos he created while being drunk. He shouted at that senior, caused a scene, made so much noise, and he even treated everyone at the party. But when he paid the bill, his credit card balance went straight into the negative. Basically, his bank account was crying louder than him. On the other hand, Haeun-jin was very happy these days because her sister was preparing for her wedding. Haeun-jin always wanted to see her sister happy. Her sister had struggled her whole life raising her, standing by her side like a rock. So now she wanted her to finally experience happiness. One day, she sees a very cute lamp. Her sister loved it. Haeun-jin thinks, why not give this as a wedding gift? But it was special, and its price was even specialer. She starts thinking, why am I so poor that I can't even buy a small gift for my sister? At that moment, her friend Baek comes and sits beside her. Baek advises her, check online. Many people sell used items and they look completely new. Meanwhile, Tae-hung's friends come to him and say, yesterday you became our role model. The way you shut that senior up, we're so proud. But Tae-hung is stressed. He's thinking, I have so much debt now. How will I pay it off? His friends suggest, sell something. You'll recover the money. But Tae-hung loved every single thing in his small flat. That little apartment was his comfort zone. He didn't want to compromise on anything. In the end, he compromises on his cute lamp. He puts it up for sale. And that exact ad is seen by Haeun-jin. She immediately messages him. She talks very cleverly, and they agree to meet and check the product. The next day, both of them arrive at the meeting point. Haeun-jin comes fully prepared. She wants the maximum discount, so she tries to find faults in the lamp. She says, it's 1 year old. Reduce the price. But Tae-hung replies, I've taken care of it more than my own life. Now, Haeun-jin opens the packing and inspects it closely, almost like a detective with a magnifying glass, trying to find even one scratch. But she fails. Then, Hyun-jin, standing in a cafe, hands Tae-hung her phone and forces him to take a really good picture of her. But while arguing, something happens. Hyun-jin almost falls. Tae-hung catches her, but at the same time, the lamp is about to fall too. He grabs it. He thinks he saved it, but one light gets damaged. Seeing this, Tae-hung becomes heartbroken and says, "I shouldn't have sold this to someone like you. I wish I never came here." Hyun-jin also says, "It was my fault of coming to buy this from you. You're crazy." But in this chaotic atmosphere, something happens. Hyun-jin's phone remains with Tae-hung, and its battery is almost dead. He takes it home and puts it on charging. As soon as it turns on, Hyun-jin's calls start. She calls from someone else's phone and says, "Return it right now. I came to buy something, but you turned out to be a thief." Tae-hung says, "I had no such intention. You can come take it." He calls her to the train station, but she says, "I'm busy. Tomorrow I have to attend my sister's parent meeting." While talking, Tae-hung sees her wallpaper, a photo of her with her sister, and he realizes the man marrying her sister is none other than his own brother. His name was Woo-jin. But Tae-hung doesn't have good memories with this brother. This was the brother who abandoned him in childhood. He left him alone in the rain. Tae-hung cried and screamed, but Woo-jin never returned. Now, Hyun-jin had booked a restaurant for the meeting. She ordered many dishes. She didn't want her sister to look like she had no family. But during dinner, Tae-hung suddenly arrives and says, "I'm here to represent you as the brother." Actually, he saw the restaurant address on her phone. Everyone is shocked, and when they realize he's the groom's brother, Hyun-jin is irritated. This rude man was misbehaving even while eating. Tae-hung also says to his future sister-in-law, "Did my brother not tell you about me? Why would he? He has a habit of abandoning people. He leaves relationships. Maybe he'll leave you, too. I don't trust him at all." Because of this, Woo-jin becomes very disturbed. It looks like he had some reason, some helplessness behind leaving his brother, but Tae-hung doesn't want to hear anything. After dinner, Tae-hung tries to leave. Woo-jin follows him and stops him. "Listen to me. Give me one chance to explain." But Tae-hung says, "I'm grown up now. I've learned to live with this pain. What will you explain? Some excuse? Some lie? Do you even remember when we last met? It's been years. You didn't even give me a birthday gift. You left me back then, and today I'm leaving you." He walks away saying, "I wish we never meet again." Deep down, Tae-hung still loved his brother. He even became a photographer because Woo-jin's last gift to him was a camera. But something was unresolved, and today that wound opened again. After that, Tae-hung decides he will never do photography again. He throws everything away. He decides to move on. His thought was, "I don't need family. I don't need relationships. I'll handle myself."
On the other side, Hyun-jin's sister gets married. Then the story fast forwards. 3 years later, everyone seems settled. Hyun-jin leaves part-time jobs and starts working in a company. She is temporary but hopes to become permanent soon. Tae-young is also working in a real estate company. His job looks stable. He even decides to buy his own flat. After spending childhood in an orphanage, building his own home is the biggest happiness for him. He advises his friend, "Never believe in relationships. They betray you. Earn money. Money doesn't betray." Meanwhile, Hyun-jin hopes to become full-time, but her boss breaks her hope. She becomes upset and cries. Later, she goes to her sister's house. Her sister has prepared delicious food for her. Hyun-jin pretends she is fine, but her sister understands everything. Her sister says, "I know you still aren't full-time. Stay with me. I want to support you. You're getting weaker day by day. I even set up a room for you." Hyun-jin goes to see the room and finds a job hunting book placed on top. She gets angry. She was already depressed. She says, "So you think I'll stay stuck to you like a parasite forever? When will you let me stand on my own feet? I have self-respect. I don't want to ruin my married sister's home. I don't want to become a third wheel." And she leaves. Woo Jin tells his wife, "It's just sisters fighting. They'll be fine soon." But then Woo Jin receives a message. His father is being released on parole. Woo Jin panics and immediately calls Tae-young, but Tae-young doesn't answer. At the same time, Woo Jin's wife says, "Hyunjin still isn't replying to my messages." Woo Jin gets distracted, and then a truck hits his car. The accident is extremely dangerous. Now the scene shifts. Hyunjin is sitting, and Tae-young is elsewhere. Both receive a call at the same time and are told the same bad news. Woo Jin and Hyunjin's sister have died in the accident. Hyunjin is shattered. She loved her sister. Now she feels like an orphan, and she regrets being angry with her sister before she died. Tae-young also loved his brother, but distance had grown between them. At the funeral, another bomb drops. Tae-young finds out he has a nephew, a very cute baby boy, Woo-ju. Woo-ju starts crying. Hyunjin tries to comfort him, but Woo-ju shows no interest in her. He runs straight toward Tae-young, and Tae-young, who doesn't even like kids, tries to step back. But while saving the child, Hyunjin gets injured. Hyunjin goes to the hospital for dressing. Meanwhile, Tae-young is stuck managing funeral arrangements and also handling the baby. Woo-ju is extremely cute, and he keeps getting closer to Tae-young. Maybe he feels his father in him. Tae-young is irritated by his mischief. He keeps trying to escape, but Woo-ju clings to him. At one point, Woo-ju vomits all over him. Now Tae-young is washing clothes, cleaning himself, and thinking, why hasn't his aunt come yet? Someone take him away, please. He even puts Woo-ju in a bucket and drags him around, and Woo-ju seems to be enjoying it like it's an amusement park ride. Then Hyunjin arrives and says, "How can you behave like this with a child?" But Woo-ju refuses to come out of the bucket. Hyunjin tells her friend, "With Tae-young here, it feels like someone shares my pain. He's helping with arrangements and even taking care of Woo-ju. The baby who once felt so annoying doesn't feel that bad anymore." After everything ends, they are told, this child has no one else in the world. Only these two are his family right now. If neither accepts him, he will be sent to an orphanage. Does anyone want to take responsibility for this child? Tae-young immediately says, "What are you saying? I saw this child for the first time today. How can I take responsibility? And I don't want involvement with Woo Jin or his family anymore. That's enough." And he walks away. But Hyunjin, she has a soft heart. She says, "I will raise this child." As she leaves with Woo-ju, Tae-young helps one last time. He puts her luggage in the car because her hand is injured, and he gives the baby one last gift, a candy. He says, "Maybe we will never meet again, but in the future, this baby will bring them together." What kind of circumstances will be created, and how will Woo-ju destroy their comfort zones? To find out, stay connected.
So finally, Hyunjin brings Woo-ju to his house. Woo-ju, as soon as he reaches home, instantly feels calm and peaceful, and he starts playing with his toys. But for Hyunjin, this place is full of memories. Everywhere she looks, she keeps remembering her sister. When she enters the room where she and her sister had their fight, her heart feels extremely heavy. And then she notices something. Her sister had left a sticky note that said, "I'm sorry." Seeing that makes her want to cry immediately. She breaks down and cries for a long time. She misses her sister so much. But at the same time, she receives a good news too. BS Food Company has called her for an interview. She's finally going to become a full-time employee. Her sister isn't with her anymore, but Woo-ju is. He is now the only family she has, and he will be her support moving forward. On the other side, we see Tae-young. Inside, he is deeply upset, but he keeps pretending to be cool, acting like nothing matters. He's drinking with his friend and says, "People are telling me to take responsibility for that kid, but what relationship do I even have with him?" Honestly, he's just trying to justify himself and cover his guilt. but his friend can tell. Taehyung is clearly sad, only trying to hide it. And no matter how much he runs, he can't run away from himself forever. One thing keeps bothering him again and again. Before the accident, his brother's last call was to him. Taehyung didn't pick up. His brother had left a message saying, "I need to talk to you about something important." But what was that important thing? Taehyung doesn't know. Meanwhile, Hyunjin's life is completely upside down. Her house is a mess, and she's trying her best to cook for Wooju, but the baby spits the food out. He doesn't like it at all. At that moment, her best friend, Baek, arrives. Seeing Hyunjin's condition, she feels really bad for her and says, "I'll help you completely." First, she asks Hyunjin to wash her hair. Now she's busy tidying up both Hyunjin and Wooju, talking while cleaning. But then Wooju creates chaos. He literally poops right there. So now, instead of cleaning one mess, they have to clean a whole disaster. After all that, Wooju finally sleeps peacefully. But the girls, exhausted, think, kids look so cute from far away, but up close, they turn into walking natural disasters. Like, honestly, babies are basically tiny CEOs of destruction. While talking, Hyunjin requests Baek, "Tomorrow I have an interview. Please take care of Wooju for just 3 hours." Baek agrees. On the other side, Taehyung is busy renovating his house. He wants everything extremely detailed and perfect, to the point that even the contractor is holding his head like, "Why did I sign this contract?" Now the scene shifts to Yoon. He is a team manager at BS Food Company. He is very handsome, and his cooking skills are amazing too. When he's shown the shortlisted candidates' CVs, his eyes fall on Hyunjin's photo. It feels like he already knows her. A smile appears on his face. Now, finally, the interview day arrives. Hyunjin is getting ready. At the same time, Taehyung is shown again. Every time he sees Candy, he keeps remembering Wooju's face. Of course, Wooju is his blood, his nephew, and he misses him, but he keeps trying to ignore it. But unfortunately, at the last moment, Baek gets an emergency from her company. No one is free. Hyunjin panics. She has no choice, so she calls Taehyung and asks him to come urgently. When he arrives, she shows him her injured hand with a bandage and says, "Because of you, I got hurt. I can't take care of Wooju properly. It's only for 3 hours. I'll give my interview and come back." But Taehyung isn't even ready to listen. Hyunjin starts playing the victim card, and then she begins blackmailing him. "Don't forget, he's your blood. Who else can take care of him besides you?" Then she says something even more ridiculous. "You should help me because we stripped together." Taehyung is shocked. "When did we strip together?" She replies, 3 years ago, we stripped the bubble wrap off that lamp together." And just like that, she fools him and runs away. Taehyung is left staring at the messy house, thinking, what am I supposed to do with this tiny bomb? He finds kids extremely annoying. Then he gets an important office call. A task is pending and he wants to complete it on his laptop. So he picks up Wooju and brings him to his studio apartment. He sits him down and gives strict instructions. Don't touch anything. Sit quietly. And in return, Wooju slaps him right on the face. Taehyung gets so busy working that when he finally turns around, he screams. Wooju has turned his apartment upside down, and Taehyung is a cleanliness freak. For him, this is basically the apocalypse. He screams so loudly that even the neighbors come out thinking an earthquake has happened. Wooju gets scared and starts crying, and then he poops again. Taehyung thinks, why are you crying? I should be the one crying. He tries to call his aunt for help, but Wooju throws his phone onto the road. Now Taehyung can't even call anyone, so he ends up going straight to BS Food Company with the baby. The mall has decorations set up, and Wooju starts ruining those too. A crowd gathers, and among them is Hyunjin. When she comes forward, she sees Wooju there, and Taehyung standing behind him. Wooju keeps calling her, honey, honey. Hyunjin feels extremely embarrassed in front of her future colleagues. On one side, the baby is a mess. On the other side, Tae-hung realizes Hyunjin's injury was fake. Her hand is perfectly fine. They are busy fighting when suddenly Wooju disappears. He runs to the fountains nearby and starts playing in the water. Both of them chase him while Wooju runs ahead, making them sprint like crazy. By the time they catch him, both of them are completely soaked. Tae-hung angrily says, "You aunt and nephew are so annoying. Don't ever show me your faces again." He goes home and starts cleaning his apartment. While cleaning, it becomes night. Meanwhile, Hyunjin also cleans Wooju properly. The next day, when Tae-hung's phone finally works, he realizes he missed many important calls and messages. Because of that, his renovation work has been ruined. There is water leakage, everything is wet, and the work is unfinished. He had already ordered furniture for his new house and ended his old apartment contract. Now he thinks, with all this stuff, where am I supposed to go? No apartments are available urgently. Then he remembers something. Hyunjin once said, "This is Wooju's house. You can stay here whenever you want. We can take care of him together." So Tae-hung picks up his luggage and arrives at Wooju's house. Hyunjin is shocked. He walks in confidently, hugs Wooju, and says, "Look at our chemistry. He's my blood. I'll stay with him." Hyunjin shouts, "Forget what I said. We can't live under one roof. You're a boy, I'm a girl. I don't need your permission." But Tae-hung asks Wooju, "Can I stay here?" Wooju immediately says yes. Hyunjin doesn't want him there, but Tae-hung shows her the damage and says, "Either compensate me or let me stay." Hyunjin stays quiet. Exhausted, she lies down on the floor. Tae-hung starts setting up his things and also takes care of Wooju. That night is the first peaceful sleep Hyunjin gets. In the morning, she wakes up and the house looks completely different. Everything is clean, shining, and organized. Breakfast is ready, Wooju has a healthy meal made by his uncle, and Tae-hun is feeding him with his own hands. Even the bathroom is sparkling. He even washed all the baby's clothes. He is a cleanliness freak, but honestly, it's helping. Hyunjin realizes he is truly supporting her with Wooju, but she quickly tells herself, "No, I won't let him stay here forever." Then she receives a message. "Congratulations, you have been hired as a full-time employee at BS Food Company." She becomes extremely happy. When Tae-hung hears it, he says, "That's great news. Don't worry, dress up nicely and go party with your friends. I'll handle Wooju." Hyunjin shares everything with Baek. Baek laughs and says, "Why are you so old-fashioned? He's a guy, you're a girl, you're not sharing a bedroom, you're just housemates. Plus, he'll help you with the baby." Meanwhile, Tae-hung plans, "It's only 1 month. My furniture will stay safe and renovation will go smoothly." But his friends tease him, "What if you fall in love with her while living together?" Tae-hung immediately says, "That's impossible." At dinner time, the two sit down and discuss rules. Hyunjin decides to let him stay. She says, "I'm new at my job, so you'll handle more of Wooju's care and we'll split all expenses half and half." Tae-hung agrees instantly. They even sign an agreement. Now, will they really be able to live together? How will their feelings develop? To find out, stay connected.
So now, after signing the contract, Tae-hyun gives Hyunjin a warning. "This is my room and no one can enter without knocking. No one is allowed inside." Well, Hyunjin wouldn't even want to go into his room anyway. But there was one thing that was bothering her. She asked Tae-hyun, "I'll be spending the whole day at work. How will you take leave? How will you make time for the baby? You have to manage all of this. It's in the contract." Tae-hyun reassured her, "Don't worry, I've got everything managed." Actually, Tae-hyun had a plan in mind. The next day, he went to his office to discuss his annual leave. He had a month off that he wanted to use now, but his boss initially said, "We don't have many people at the moment, I can't let you go." Somehow, Tae-hyun managed to convince him.
However, there was one condition from his boss. The company had only one photographer left, and he had quit. They urgently needed a photo shoot, knowing how perfect Taehyung had been as a photographer in the past. Now, normally, Taehyung never wanted to pick up a camera, but after so many years, he had to do it again. It was his passion, and while doing this work, he felt some pain, but also enjoyed it. He conducted a photo shoot at a hotel really well. Then, while discussing this, luck seemed to favor him even more. In the same area, for inspiration for her photo shoot, a top photographer named Amy Chu had come. She kept instructing her assistant to find the perfect location, but her assistant was frustrated by her perfectionism, thinking, where will I even find such a place? Why not change the assistant? There was Amy Chu's manager passing by, who happened to hear Taehyung talking. He approached Taehyung and said, "I'm looking for the location you are mentioning. Thanks to your effort, we've found the perfect spot. Would you like to assist Amy Chu for this shoot?" They even offered him a good amount of money for this part-time work, but Taehyung stood firm and refused. "This is not my cup of tea. I won't pick up a camera again." Meanwhile, at home, we see Hyunjin fully prepared. She had made a long checklist for Taehyung on how he should take care of Wooju. She gave him the checklist and said, "Keep me informed about how you're taking care of him." The next morning at 8 a.m., Hyunjin's time with Wooju ended. She had to go to work, and now Taehyung's schedule began. From 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., he had to take care of Wooju, as per the contract. Hyunjin was very happy going to work, excited for her first day of training with the new employees. She was learning everything attentively. Meanwhile, at home, Taehyung was taking excellent care of Wooju. He completed every task on time, sent photos to Hyunjin, and even though TV was strictly banned, he let Wooju watch it a little for his smartness. He also gave him a bit of chocolate after meals, saying it was necessary for a balanced diet. By 6 p.m., Taehyung thought he should take a shower before Hyunjin arrived and start her duty, but bad luck struck. The boiler had broken and only cold water came. Taehyung stepped out wrapped in a towel just as Hyunjin arrived, and they both screamed at each other. After calming down, they tried fixing the boiler. They had to call an electrician who demanded a high fee they couldn't afford. To manage the situation, they decided to bathe Wooju first, which Taehyung insisted on. He heated water in a bucket, and together they bathed Wooju. Wooju, of course, made it difficult for them, and by the time they finished, they were exhausted. Taehyung scolded her jokingly, "You're so bad, you made me do overtime. Look, it's 11 p.m. And in the middle of their playful argument, Wooju went back to the restroom. By the time they finished with him, it was almost midnight.
The next day, when Hyunjin went to the office, she was assigned to work with a team. The team leader was Yunsang. During casual conversation, an employee recognized her. "Aren't you the girl from the lobby on the interview day who caused a scene?" The footage from that day had gone viral in all office groups. Actually, on that day, Taeyang had come to BS Food Company with Wooju, and it looked like Hyunjin was the baby's caretaker, while Taeyang was the daddy, calling Hyunjin honey repeatedly. Thankfully, Hyunjin didn't appear in the viral footage, but some people recognized her from her side profile. She felt embarrassed and wanted to give Taeyang a piece of her mind. Meanwhile, at home, Taeyang went to a neighbor to borrow some tools. The neighbor noticed the broken boiler and said, "Your boiler is broken, but I can fix it for free. No one else outside can do it better." The neighbor was more interested in gossip than work and asked, "Who are you? I've never seen you here. What's your relationship with the family?" Taeyang explained, "Our relationship is cute. We're taking care of this baby as a little cute couple." Hyunjin was shocked. After the scene with Taeyang and Wooju went viral, she realized everyone might think she was someone's wife. But then she noticed something bigger. Her manager was none other than Yunsang. Seeing each other triggered old memories. As they had been a couple years ago, they now reacted like meeting each other for the first time again. Meanwhile, the neighbor messed up the house even more. First, the boiler barely worked, then completely stopped. When Hyunjin came home, she noticed the display wasn't working either. Taeyang tried to act innocent, saying he didn't realize it. On top of that, the laundry was piled up.
They went to do it together, with Wooju following along. Taeyang joked, "Because of you, I have to do overtime every day." Hyunjin thought, "Because of this man, my image at work on the first day is already ruined." She showed him the viral video, saying, "Aren't you ashamed?" He replied, "Thank God your face isn't in it." Hyunjin said, "Do you know how beautiful and attractive I was in university? Everyone called me the top star, Suji. That image is ruined because of you." Taeyang looked at her messy hair and thought, "This looks like Suji. Oh my god." The next day, Hyunjin had to wash her hair with cold water again, and Taeyang felt sorry seeing her struggle. He wanted to help her, but she insisted. Office news came that Yunsang wouldn't be in for 2 days due to a business trip, so Hyunjin felt relieved she wouldn't have to worry about impressions besides him. On the next day, Hyunjin went to the office, while Wooju held his nose as he hadn't showered for 2 days, and the boiler still wasn't working. But to her surprise, Yoon Sung was present in the office today. She was very embarrassed because oily hair. While Taeyang had to wash so many clothes by hand, and then he saw Amy's card and decided to do that part-time work. He could not bear watching Hyunjin catching a cold. He decided to assign her friends to take care of Wooju while Taeyang went for the part-time photo shoot. Taeyang said he needed all the payment in cash immediately. The manager agreed. "No problem, just keep Amy happy." At the photo shoot, Taeyang set everything up before Amy arrived. When Amy saw a new person assisting, she said, "Go away, I don't need an assistant." He calmly replied, "I'll leave for 1 day. No need to worry, I'm temporary." Meanwhile, an actress at the shoot was worried that the setup made her look too bold, but Amy reassured her, "You don't need to trust me, trust my camera. I've never disappointed on any project." Amy Chu was indeed a brilliant photographer and had been Taeyang's role model in photography. He had studied her style, settings, and lighting, impressing Amy. Back at the office, Hyunjin's health wasn't perfect. She was coughing and feeling cold. Taeyang went to the part-time job and used the money to fix the boiler. Shooting again with the camera after years awakened his passion for photography. Later, when Hyunjin was returning home in the elevator, Yunsang offered her a lift. "Don't take the bus. You don't look well." Meanwhile, Taeyang was busy with a task when little Wooju started playing. He opened a box in the room and found the camera gifted by Wooju's dad, a camera he had thrown away 3 years ago but had picked up again. Seeing it upset him deeply. Hyunjin took a lift slightly away from the apartment and got off. From the building, they talked and recalled old memories. They had been first loves, broken up 7 years ago, probably because Hyunjin wanted to pursue higher studies. Arriving home in the rain, Hyunjin's mood worsened. Taeyang was already upset. "I told you, no one should enter this room. You went inside and touched my camera, which I hadn't touched in 3 years." She said she was already stressed. Taeyang replied, "Because of your concern, I left Wooju with someone else today and went for the part-time job. The boiler is fixed. Now you can bathe peacefully and refresh yourself." Hyunjin was very happy hearing this. Taeyang also bathed and put Wooju to sleep carefully. Then they sat together and opened wine to celebrate. They drank wine and talked, agreeing not to let small fights continue and spend remaining time peacefully. Taeyang said, "Even neighbors are thinking we might be a couple. Let's spend time peacefully and go our separate ways tomorrow." The next morning, they were found sleeping in the same bed, probably because they had drunk a little too much. When Taeyang saw Hyunjin in bed, realizing this was not a dream, both screamed. Little Wooju seemed to enjoy the situation. So now, after the chaos had been created, first they screamed and shouted in shock, and then after they calmed down, they remembered what had actually happened. Actually, from the start, they thought they would just have a little drink and then relax and go to sleep. But that night, it increased, and then they drank 1, 2, 3 bottles each. Now, all these memories were coming together at once. As soon as they looked at the point where their things were lying, some flashback would come. They had both put the whole pot together to tease each other and had revealed their own secrets to each other. What was the condition of their hearts? What were their family situations? How much did Tae-hyung like photography, but because of being heartbroken, he had left it all? And then Han-jin told him how she spent her childhood happily. Only her sister was her umbrella. She cooked for her, told her what she liked the most, and she would just remember it and cry. And Tae-hyung was holding her through it. They were acting completely like best friends. And that day, they didn't even realize when Han-jin fell asleep lying on Tae-hyung's bed. Well, thanks to God, they remembered that they had only shared a bed, nothing else. Still, they were so embarrassed that when they were tidying up their things, they said to each other that now we promise we will never drink. We won't even touch a bottle, and we will spend the remaining time very peacefully. And after making this promise, Tae-hyung picked up his things and went to his room and then locked himself inside for the whole day until Han-jin went out with the baby. Now, Han-jin had taken Woo-ju out to the park and her friend bike to meet her, shouting that, "What is this? Your relationship is progressing so fast that you both have already slept together?" She said, "We just slept. That means we just slept and nothing else. We got drunk, we were completely unconscious. 1 month later, she will leave, and that's all." But Mike said to her, "By the way, I should tell you one thing. Your housemate is very handsome, and anyway, she said he was her sister's in-law." And after that, Tae-hyung was sitting with his friends. He was very lost. He hadn't thought that such a day could ever come in his life. He hadn't shared anything with his friends, but still they kept asking him questions again and again. They said, "That girl who is your housemate, your in-law, she's pretty and looks innocent. Are you two living together? Has any romance bloomed? What do you think about your relationship? You are single, right?" And just hearing this, he shouted, "What are you saying?" And his friend said, "You've been living together for so many days. Your chemistry is also very good. Haven't you ever felt that she's very beautiful? Has your heart beaten for her?" And just hearing this, he ran away. And even though he had been avoiding her all day, he ran into Han-jin. And today, for the first time, she was looking at herself repeatedly in the mirror, thinking, "Why am I caring? How do I look in front of Tae-hyung?" And every time they met at home, the situation was very awkward that day. Now, after she took her shower, it was Tae-hyung's turn to shower. She came and knocked and said, "Let me come in. I need to take something." He said, "Go away, I'm showering." But she was very restless, making noise from outside. Then Tae-hyung realized that one of the items was actually left inside, and the situation, which was already awkward, became even more embarrassing. Han-jin hid her face, picked up her stuff, and ran away from there. Then, once she was opening the window, a strong wind blew and her hair flew. Tae-hyung saw her and just kept looking. For the first time, he was feeling something like a womanly attraction. She looked very beautiful, and in his ears were the same words that his friend had told him. "She looks beautiful. Is your heart not beating?" And he started thinking, "What is happening to me?" And shortly after, the same thing happened with Han-jin. When Tae-hyung was fixing a tap, she saw him. His muscles were so amazing, so macho, and she kept looking at him. All the things Mike had said earlier were now ringing in Han-jin's ears. Well, after this event, the weekend ended and she went back to work. Now, when the office life started, Han-jin realized that she was completely new to her team and people were taking her easily. It felt like even after completing 3 months, she might not become permanent here because her ideas didn't match the team managers. In the last meeting, she had given some revolutionary thoughts. They said, "Take care of your bed and leave from here." But in fact, that was not the case. A meeting happened later in which Yoon Seong gave a very important task to Han-jin, and she would be doing the most important work for the next project. If she did well, her job could be confirmed here. Meanwhile, Tae-hyung's encounter happened with the same neighbor who had broken his boiler. To take revenge, he said in front of the neighbor's mother, "I saw your son smoking yesterday," and the mother was against smoking. She scolded him a lot. And meanwhile, Han-jin returned from work, and the boy was taking revenge because Taehyung had said he and Han-jin were living like a couple, so he kept calling Han-jin cute like a darling. Han-jin didn't know. Taehyung didn't run away and changed the subject, saying he hadn't called her cute but Woo-ju. Now Han-jin had to prove herself on the new project, so she had to do extra work. She came home and continued working. She got so excited that she ran and grabbed Taehyung's hand, asking, "Help me prove myself. I want to show them. You will have to take care of Woo-ju more these days." And when she held his hand, he blushed and said, "Okay, but keep some distance." These days, Han-jin was working full-time, often staying up late at night. Taehyung took care of the baby day and night. Slowly, he realized he liked Han-jin and understood her struggles. She had lived a tough life, and he had seen her goals. She had written once that she had to stand on her own feet, support herself, and handle life. Seeing this, he felt pity for her miserable life. Later, while cleaning, he found a sticky star and remembered more memories. They stayed up late at night looking at the shining stars. Han-jin told him that whenever it rained, her sister used to take care of her, bring an umbrella, and make pancakes with lots of corn. She cried, thinking she would never eat pancakes like that again. And that day was rainy too. Taehyung thought he should make pancakes for her. He didn't even realize when he started caring for Han-jin. He was good at cooking and made excellent pancakes. He fed Woo-ju and said, "Why is your aunt late? She'll get sick in the rain." He justified himself, saying, "I'm out of humanity." Then he prepared the food and waited for her, because Han-jin had promised to arrive in half an hour and they would have dinner together. But Han-jin got caught up with work and was very late. She was the last in the office, and Yoon Siang was leaving at the same time. He asked her, "Why are you going by bus? I will drop you. I made you overwork anyway. We can also discuss work." Meanwhile, Taehyung thought, "Poor thing is working day and night. Got wet in the rain, she'll get flu." And he was talking to Woo-ju about this. He worried Han-jin might catch flu, so he took an umbrella for her. Then he left the baby at the grandmother's for a while and went to the bus stand. He waited for a long time. Many buses passed, and he was about to leave exhausted when a fancy car stopped nearby. Yes-yang got out, the same one who had given Han-jin a lift. Yoon Siang had a big car, looked rich, tall, and handsome. Taehyung saw him and then himself. He was wearing casual clothes and slippers, didn't look equal to Yun. He quietly left, but Han-jin saw him leaving and felt bad that he had made him wait and even brought an umbrella for her. Now both reached home, but secretly Taehyung felt very jealous. He said, "I had messaged to ask if you had an umbrella. You could have replied that you are coming not by bus, but with your manager in a fancy car. Then I wouldn't have cared. Why should I care? I was worried about Woo-ju's infection." And then Han-jin realized why he had gotten so angry, because he had made her favorite pancakes, which were now cold. Taehyung said, "I hate waiting the most. Don't ever make such a promise that you can't keep." A few days passed, and then a very pleasant surprise came in Taehyung's life, the Amy Chu photo shoot, which now was printed in a magazine. She mentioned Taehyung as her assistant in it. In an interview, she was asked, "You never acknowledge assistants, so this person must be special." Amy Chu said, "It's true. He's very talented." Now Taehyung started getting calls from everywhere. Everyone knew Amy Chu. She was a huge celebrity, the biggest name in her field. Feeling happy about this, Han-jin also brought the magazine to Taehyung. She praised him and said, "You told me that day, drunk, that your passion has always been to hold a camera. I want you to go back to this field. Try your luck again." But he said, "I left it all. I only worked one day." Then he got a call from Amy Chu, who told him to bring his usual camera to the address she sent him. This was the biggest opportunity of his life, which could lift him from the ground to the sky. But he said, "I won't go. I threw away all my cameras." Here, Han Jin started to care. She convinced him, saying, "If this makes you happy, go once. You'll realize if you want to continue in this field. Don't let this huge chance in your life be wasted. Trust me, just go once."
After hearing Han Jin, he seriously thought about it, and after thinking the whole day, decided to go once. He immediately called Han Jin and said, "I've decided to go to Amy Chu today evening. Be back by 7 p.m. She said, "Okay, this time I will keep my promise." She rushed to finish her work quickly to reach on time. Then something unexpected happened. Yoon Seong received a call from a big client abroad. A connecting flight was involved, and they had to meet him at the airport. They only gave a few minutes for the meeting, and the work had to be ready before that, or the project would be lost. Han Jin was mainly handling this project, so they took a suite near the airport and completed their work there. Han Jin called, saying, "I am so sorry, please ask the grandma nearby for help," but she was also unavailable. Tae-young took the baby with him. The baby made a mess, spilling juice on his clothes. When they reached Amy Chu, seeing the setup revived Tae-young's old memories. His passion was alive again. Amy Chu said, "You even brought the child." He apologized. "Some mess happened last minute. I had to bring him along." Then he started completing the tasks given by Amy Chu. She tested him, saying, "Shoot photography according to your own nature and complete everything within 3 hours. It doesn't matter if you use the old camera. I'll see your talent." He started shooting, and Wooju appeared in some shots, looking classy and cute. Meanwhile, Han Jin and Yoon Seong worked and reminisced about college days, projects, and perfection. She said, "We worked so hard for the scholarship." Yoon Seong said, "I didn't work for the scholarship. I just wanted to spend time with you." Meanwhile, something bad happened with Wooju. He got hurt. Tae-young left everything and took him to the hospital. To admit him, a guardian was required, but Han Jin was at the airport, leaving her phone behind. When she returned, she saw 19 missed calls and ran to the hospital. Tae-young was extremely angry, panicked. He said, "Enough is enough." She said, "I was busy with work, forgot my phone, and I work hard to bring up Wooju." He said, "Stand on your feet first. You haven't fulfilled this dream yet. How will you take responsibility?" This had been Han Jin's sore point. Tae-young said that this was like putting salt on her wounds. She could have blamed him for not taking care of the child properly. But during their argument, the doctor called and said that because the child's parents were not alive and due to the separation, the baby was experiencing psychological impact. Both had to take care of him, especially as guardians. They felt embarrassed but focused on caring for Wooju. Tae-young had never taken responsibility before, but now loved Wooju. Tae-young felt bad that due to his mistake, the child got hurt. He was too absorbed in his work, and at the same time, he felt bad for having spoken to Han Jin so harshly, saying things he shouldn't have. Then he felt embarrassed and sat in the park. For reconciliation, he brought a massive breakfast for both Wooju and Han Jin. Both of them were also secretly embarrassed. They thought that this way they could rebuild their friendship. Sitting together, having breakfast, they realized that the property owner had come today. So when Hyunjin sees who the owner of the house actually is, she's completely shocked. Out of all the people in this world, it just had to be Yoon Song. She quickly gathers herself, and before Tae-young can open the door, she tells him to hide immediately and keep Wooju inside too. In panic mode, she starts hiding toys and picking up random things, trying to erase every trace like she's cleaning up a crime scene. And then she finally opens the door. Yoon Song is beyond surprised. He never expected Hyunjin to be standing in front of him. Meanwhile, Tae-young starts connecting all the dots. Hyunjin had mentioned a guy once or twice before, and now he realizes this is her first love, and currently her manager, and also the owner of this house. Oh wow. Just then, Wooju runs outside.
Taehyung rushes after him but steps on a toy and slips badly, falling in the most dramatic and embarrassing way possible. For Yoonsong, this is an even bigger shock. He's thinking, wait, is this Hyunjin's husband and is that her child? But Hyunjin grabs Yoonsong just in time and takes him out to a nearby cafe where she calmly explains everything. He understands and says, oh, so he's your brother-in-law's brother and you're both taking care of Wooju together. Yoonsong feels bad that at such a young age, she's carrying so many responsibilities. But then he asks why she lied about her apartment and why she always stopped near the next building instead of letting him come closer. There shouldn't be lies between us. We were good friends once. On the other hand, Taehyung already felt inferior because of Yoonsong's strong personality and fancy car. And after that fall, he probably wanted the ground to open up and swallow him whole. But Hyunjin doesn't realize what's going on in his head. For her, it wasn't a comparison between two men. She apologizes and says she just panicked. Taehyung misunderstands it completely and says, "So you're embarrassed to show me in front of someone?" Hyunjin insists that's not what she meant. She was just shocked. But Taehyung doesn't stop. He brings up Wooju getting hurt and accuses her of hanging out with her first love instead. That twists the situation too far, and Hyunjin gets angry. She tells him he can never understand what she's going through. The weekend passes, and one day, Taehyung is sitting with Wooju among his friends, still replaying that embarrassing fall in front of Yoonsong. His friends tease him, asking if things progressed with Hyunjin. He shuts it down, saying they're impossible, and their compatibility level is 0. He's just waiting for his house renovation to finish so he can move out. Meanwhile, Hyunjin's bestie makes her realize that Taehyung's mood probably went bad because he was embarrassed. Maybe she should try to understand him. At work, Hyunjin pretends she only knows Yoonsong as her manager. Even Yoonsong notices how awkward things are becoming, so he keeps conversations strictly professional to make her feel comfortable. Now, on the other side, we see Amy Chu and the manager shown earlier. And surprise, he's not just her manager, he's her husband, and he's happily saying, "Finally, I'll be free. You found another guy you like as your assistant. Let him handle you. I'm tired. 20 years with you felt like going through hell. Just sign the divorce papers." And they're discussing divorce as casually as changing a sofa. She coolly replies, alimony won't come that easily. Court cases take time. Then Amy Chu calls Taehyung. She's reviewed his photos. Normally, she doesn't do baby shoots, but she loved his work, especially Wooju's picture. Wooju looked adorable, and in Taehyung's old camera, she also notices some older photos. She asks, "Is this the baby's mom? Your wife?" He's shocked. "No." "Then your girlfriend?" "No." She smiles and says she uses old cameras and can read emotions through photos. You took her picture with a lot of love. That means somewhere in your heart, you have feelings for this girl. On his way back, those words keep echoing in his mind. Later, Hyunjin makes a plan. Some neighbors in the building have kids too, so she plans a camping trip to improve Wooju's psychological and mental health. She asks Taehyung to join for a day, and he agrees immediately, thinking it'll help clear the awkwardness between them. But poor Taehyung already struggles handling one Wooju, and now there are 3 more kids added to the mission. He looks at Hyunjin like, "I didn't sign up for a daycare center." She just smiles sweetly, because yes, she did bring him along for help. They start setting up the tent, arguing while working. Somehow the tent finally stands, though it takes forever. By the time they're done, Taehyung feels like the day hasn't even started and he's already exhausted. Kids, tent, arguments, full package. But then he sees Wooju happily playing outside in the fresh air, laughing with other children. His face is glowing, and you can almost see the positive effect on his mental health. That sight melts both Taehyung and Hyunjin. A neighbor's daughter named Mom, who is honestly a bomb not just by name but by personality, asks Taehyung to take photos. He clicks beautiful pictures of all the kids, and Hyunjin ends up in many of them too. At one point, Hyunjin is talking to a neighbor, saying she does feel uncomfortable living like this with Taeyoung since she's not used to it, but he's moving out soon, and just thinking about that makes her sad. Unfortunately, Taeyoung overhears only half of it and thinks she can't wait for him to move out. His mood crashes completely. He even skips dinner. Hyunjin tries to feed him herself, but he pushes the plate away, and it falls. Frustrated and hurt, she goes out for a walk. While walking, Yoon-sung calls to discuss an email. During the conversation, she takes a wrong path. Later, a neighbor tells Taeyoung it's dark and Hyunjin hasn't returned. Her phone is off. Aren't you worried? Hearing this, Taeyoung forgets all his anger instantly. The neighbor also clarifies Hyunjin wasn't happy about him moving out. She was actually sad. She said he takes great care of Wooju, and he's a very nice person. Hearing that, Taeyoung feels deeply ashamed. He immediately goes out searching for Hyunjin, calling her name everywhere. It's a hilly area, and he fears she might be in danger. Taeyoung couldn't understand why he was feeling so restless for Hyunjin. What exactly was their relationship? Why did it matter so much? He keeps calling out her name in panic, and finally, he hears her voice. Hyunjin calls him from behind some rocks where she's been hiding. She was badly scared, lost her way, and even hurt her leg. The moment she sees Taeyeon, she feels immediate relief, like, okay, I'm safe now. He helps her stand and carefully brings her up. And of course, as if the situation wasn't dramatic enough already, it starts raining. Taeyoung checks her knee and sees a pretty big wound. He gently blows on it, and suddenly they both freeze, staring at each other. The atmosphere turns awkward real quick. He clears his throat, moves back, and says they'll get a bandage from a store later. Until the rain stops, they'll just sit there. While waiting, they talk. Taeyoung admits he never liked rainy days. Hyunjin, on the other hand, loves them. He explains the reason is completely opposite to hers. Whenever it rained, her sister used to come pick her up, but when it rained, he would wait and wait for his brother. The day his brother left him alone in the rain, he had promised, "I'll come back for you next time it rains." But he never returned, not once. Hyunjin feels her heart ache hearing that. His childhood wasn't just lonely, it was full of silent trauma that still lives inside him. Softly, she tells him, "From now on, whenever it rains, I'll come to pick you up. If you ever feel lonely in the rain, call me. I'll be your umbrella." Then she adds honestly, "Not every single time, but sometimes I will definitely come." And that small promise makes Taeyoung happier than it should. He lifts her up to carry her. Before she can even ask if she's heavy, he says, "You're light like a feather. Try eating properly." On the way back, Hyunjin makes him agree that they're officially buddies now. "If you don't accept that we're friends, almost like family, then why should I let you carry me?" He gives in instantly. "Fine, we're good friends." After camping, they all return home by taxi. Outside the house, Yoon-sung is standing there. The moment he sees Hyunjin, he looks relieved. He says her call had suddenly cut off and he got worried. Her battery had died. Honestly, she's kind of lucky. 2 men running around worrying about her. Hyunjin sends Taeyoung and Wooju inside so she can talk to Yoon-sung. But Taeyoung, obviously just casually standing by the window, keeps looking down to see how long they're talking. And then it gets worse. Hyunjin leaves in Yoon-sung's car. Now Taeyoung's mind is racing. Where are they going? When will she come back? In reality, Yoon-sung takes her to the hospital because he's worried her wound might get infected after getting wet in the rain. He gets her medicine too. They plan to meet the next day for lunch as a thank you, and Yoon-sung specifically asks her to bring Wooju because he wants to befriend him. Taeyoung falls asleep while waiting for her. The next morning, he wakes up late, feeling sick from being drenched in the rain. He's catching a cold. Hyunjin starts worrying immediately. If she had known he'd get this sick, she would have canceled her lunch plan. When Taeyoung hears she's going to lunch with Yoon-sung and taking Wooju, he feels deeply disappointed but hides it. Go, I can take care of myself," he says, pretending to be strong. Hyunjin keeps reminding him to take his medicine and call her if he feels worse. She leaves with Yoon-sung, but her thoughts keep drifting back to Taeyoung. Yoonsung clearly still likes her. The way he keeps bringing up their college days, it feels like he wants another chance. He's very caring, orders the right food for Wooju, remembers Hyunjin's favorites too. They're not just eating, they're also surveying the restaurant since it's related to their food company. That's why it takes longer than expected. Meanwhile, poor Taeyoung makes instant noodles at home but can't even eat them. His fever rises. Then he receives the camping photos. As he scrolls, he notices how beautiful Hyunjin looks. Every picture he took of her turned out amazing, and Amy Chu's words echo in his head. The photo shows you like this girl. At the same time, Hyunjin keeps texting him, even calls a couple of times. But Taeyoung is half unconscious with fever, completely unaware. After lunch, Yoonsung suggests going out somewhere else, but Hyunjin refuses. When he learns it's because she's worried about Taeyoung being sick, he grows quiet and sad. Somewhere inside, he feels uncomfortable that she's living under the same roof with another man. Late at night, Taeyoung wakes up and sees Hyunjin asleep in his room. There's a wet towel beside him. She's been trying to reduce his fever. When she sees him awake, she looks so relieved. "Finally, I was about to call an ambulance. Your fever was really high." And then Taeyoung says the words he's been holding in. "Why did you come so late? You know I hate waiting. I get anxious when I have to wait for you because I think I've started liking you." So the moment Taehyun confesses, Hyunjin turns completely red. She doesn't even get a chance to respond because the doorbell rings. Talk about timing. It's that same neighbor, the one whose mistake broke their boiler. His mom has sent over some homemade dishes as an apology gift. He casually walks inside like he pays rent there. Taehyun sees him and the guy starts teasing, "Looking at this house setup, you two don't seem like a couple at all." Signals him to stay quiet and sends him off. Taehyun looks at himself in the mirror and panics. "I confessed looking like this? Oh my god." Instant regret mode activated. Hyunjin had stayed up all night taking care of him, so the next day she oversleeps. Taehyun watches her sleeping peacefully and gently covers her up. When she wakes up late, she rushes to make a quick meal, but the second she sees him, she gets so awkward that she starts acting like her system has glitched, picking up random things and almost running away. On her way out, she blurts, "I made porridge for you, and Wooju already had breakfast. Take care of your health." Taehyun stops her and asks softly, "Did you eat?" No one had ever cared for her like this before, but now Taehyun does. And seeing this growing care between them, Wooju looks unusually happy too, almost like he's silently shipping them. Then Hyunjin gets good news. She had applied to a wonderful daycare center for Wooju, and finally there's an open spot. She immediately messages Taehyun the address and tells him to drop Wooju there before heading to work. Taehyun gets Wooju ready, which takes forever. Socks go on, socks come off. Shoes become toys. Total chaos. But when it's finally time to leave him at daycare, Taehyun feels strangely heavy-hearted. He spent an entire month with this child, day and night. He had planned to move out soon, but why does just a few hours away feel like someone placed a rock on his heart? Wooju is just as attached. He looks at Taehyun almost like a father. While filling out the form, Taehyun accidentally writes his own name in the guardian section instead of Hyunjin's. He considers correcting it, but when he looks at Wooju's face, he can't bring himself to erase it. Wooju adjusts well, makes friends quickly. When Taehyun is about to leave, Wooju hugs him tightly and shakes his hand like a tiny gentleman. Taehyun wonders how he'll handle this distance once he moves out. He takes many photos and later sends them to Hyunjin, but accidentally sends his own selfie instead. Before he can delete it, she sees it, and her best friend, standing right there, says, "Wow, your relationship has reached selfie level now." Hyunjin admits, "He told me last night that he likes me, but I can't believe it. He had fever medicine. What if it was sedation talking?" She feels awkward ever since. Her bestie teases, "Or maybe you still have feelings for your boss Yoonsung. He was your first love." But honestly, Hyunjin is just nervous. Later, she goes to a meeting with Yoonsung. Afterward, he takes her to a cafe connected to old memories. There's a drink she used to love. He says whenever he came there, he wondered if she had tasted it that year. During the conversation, he realizes Taehoon is only staying at her place temporarily. Hearing that, he says he feels relieved because her living with another man bothered him. Meanwhile, it's Taehoon's first day as Amy Chu's assistant. The manager gives strict instructions. One mistake, and Amy will chew you up and spit you out. Clearly, pleasing her is not easy. But Taehoon isn't doing this for money, it's his passion. For the first time in a long while, he feels something inside him completing. When he returns home late, Hyunjin gets awkward again. Before he can say anything, she rushes to explain random things and then runs to shower. He feels bad. Maybe his confession made her uncomfortable. Then he gets a call from the contractor. His apartment renovation is finished early. He can move anytime. But instead of happiness, he feels sad. He never truly had a family growing up. Now, Hyunjin and Wooju feel like one, and leaving them hurts. He talks to Hyunjin and clears things up. If my confession embarrassed you, I don't need an answer. I just wanted to be honest. I'm not good at hiding feelings. Hyunjin realizes one thing clearly. He wasn't talking under sedation. He truly likes her. At that moment, they notice Wooju sitting unusually quiet. Suspicious. They turn around and see he has completely destroyed Hyunjin's cute handbag. She can only scream in shock. The next morning, Hyunjin leaves without breakfast. As she says bye, Taehoon suddenly puts food in her mouth. Take care of yourself, too. From then on, this becomes routine. He drops Wooju, she picks him up. But there's tension in the area. A stalker has been targeting single women, breaking into apartments. Taehoon messages her to be careful and offers to pick her up. Then he purposely finds faults in his apartment renovation to delay moving out, even though it costs him more money. More time with them is worth it. One evening, Hyunjin accidentally misses her bus stop because she falls asleep. She has to walk back alone. Taehoon waits anxiously at the bus stop. She tells him to go home, but someone is following her. She starts walking faster, terrified, until Taehoon suddenly appears in front of her. "I knew you'd come from this stop," he says. He gently scolds her. "If you were scared, why didn't you call me? Promise me, in every trouble, you'll call me first." She pinky promises. He gives her a gift, pepper spray. Keep it in your handbag. But when he tests it, it sprays right into his own eyes. The way he starts crying, even Wooju would say, "Calm down, uncle." She takes him home, splashes water, and after a while, he opens his eyes. The situation is awkward. She slips while rushing out of the bathroom, and he catches her in his arms. The next day at BS Food Company, it's announced that Korea's biggest photographer has agreed to work with them, Amy Chu, and her assistant, Taehoon. Hyunjin is stunned seeing him in her office. Colleagues whisper that they've seen him somewhere before. Yes, the infamous lobby video. After the meeting, they decide to have dinner together. Amy dislikes gatherings, but her manager loves them, so they go anyway. At dinner, everyone keeps asking about Taehoon and Hyunjin's relationship. They clarify they're not married, not a couple, just distant relatives. Yoon-sung quickly emphasizes they are not a couple, clearly uncomfortable. Later, during games, both men subtly compete, trying to prove who is closer to Hyunjin. At one point, Yoon-sung wipes something off her face and Taehoon nearly spills his drink in jealousy. He blurts, "Hyunjin didn't tell you how close we are. Last night, she really spiced things up for me." He meant the pepper spray, but Yoon-sung definitely took that differently. During the game, Taehoon wins, and in excitement hugs Hyunjin. Realizing how that looks, he awkwardly hugs everyone else to normalize it. Yoon-sung loses the game, but later takes Hyunjin to watch fireworks. She finally explains why she left him in college. She found out he gave up his scholarship spot for her. She felt pitied, not equal, so she left. He admits he knew the truth, but stayed silent so she wouldn't feel bad. He drops her home. As she climbs the stairs, Taehoon calls to check if she reached safely. While talking, she notices her apartment door slightly open. Inside, everything is scattered, and then she sees a shadow moving out from within. She screams, and Hyunjin gets extremely scared. The moment she screams, Yesung, who was downstairs, runs upstairs like he just heard a fire alarm with her name on it. A middle-aged man had already entered their flat. Seeing him, Yesung immediately tries to call the police. But the man quickly apologizes and asks, "Isn't this Woojin's house?" Woojin was Hyunjin's brother-in-law. The moment she hears that name, she freezes. How do you know him? Turns out, he's Taeyoung and Woojin's father. Meanwhile, Taeyoung had been calling Hyunjin again and again, but her phone was on silent because, of course, phones only ring when we don't need them. When he rushes there and hears that a strange man entered the house, he panics. But Hyunjin tells him, "It's your dad." The moment Taeyoung's father sees him, he gets emotional instantly. Hyunjin and Yesung quietly leave them alone to talk. Here, I'd like to request you to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. Yesung is still worried and keeps saying, "How will you go home alone? Your lock is broken. I don't feel safe." But Hyunjin insists she's fine and practically pushes him out. Inside, Taeyoung's father keeps crying, clearly drowning in guilt. But Taeyoung, he feels none. He calmly says, "I lived 20 years without you. My childhood passed. I grew up. I settled my life. I don't need you now." All he wants to end this quickly so Hyunjin won't feel uneasy. Later, Hyunjin picks up little Wooju from the neighbor's house. He'd been playing with his 3 tiny besties. She's worried Taeyoung might be upset. But Taeyoung is actually worried about Hyunjin. He apologizes for his father causing trouble, and then notices she hurt her hand, something she didn't even realize. He gently applies medicine and promises, "I'll never let you suffer because of him." That moment brings back painful memories. His father was a thief, committing fraud, stealing money, and then running away. Taeyoung and his brother were left behind to suffer. He was just a child, carrying a burden heavier than his school bag. Later, even his brother Woojin left him alone at the orphanage. He endured everything silently. The next day, Taeyoung calls his father to a cafe. His dad thinks his son has a changed heart. Spoiler alert, it hasn't. Taeyoung only sent him away earlier so Hyunjin wouldn't feel uneasy. Now alone, he tells him clearly, "I don't think we should meet again. You're not my father. I'm not your son. Relationships are built on emotions, and we have none left. I hope we never see each other again." His father kneels and begs for forgiveness, but Taeyoung walks away. Now we move to BS Food Company. Hyunjin is still a temporary employee, and some permanent staff look down on her. They even have a private group chat where they discuss work without her. The very project she worked on day and night is now selected as the company's core project. She's happy, but also carrying responsibility for Wooju. One day, Wooju is in a bad mood. Taeyoung can't drop him off at daycare, so he asks the neighbor grandma. Later, Hyunjin goes to pick him up, and Yesung is already there waiting. He tells her, "It must be tiring, overworking and raising a child. I want to help you." He drives her home and asks if he can come upstairs. His reason, he wants to replace her broken lock with an anti-theft one. Protective mode activated. While reaching for a drill placed high up, the two get very close, almost movie-level close. And on cue, Taeyoung makes a dramatic entrance. Yesung immediately says, "I'm the owner of this house. I was worried, so I came to change the lock." Taeyoung steps in, moves Hyunjin aside, and starts fixing the lock with Yesung. But honestly, he looks like he just came to compete, not cooperate. He keeps pointing out faults. "You're not holding it properly, and this lock is crooked. Are you even useful?" Wooju watches all this like a tiny judge in a love triangle courtroom. The tension? Immaculate. Later, Hyunjin and Taeyoung take care of Wooju together. From afar, Yesung watches them. They look exactly like a happy little family, and that's when loneliness hits him. Later, he warns Taeyoung, "Your dad caused trouble for Hyunjin. I won't tolerate it. I won't let her get hurt." On the career side, Taeyoung is doing well. He's assigned as the main photographer for a shoot with foreign models. Huge achievement. But even during success, his father's sudden return weighs on him. His dad has even moved nearby, helping people, trying to live honestly after prison. He seems changed. But Taeyoung refuses to meet him, so his dad secretly meets Wooju outside the house. He wants to hold his grandson, show affection. Hyunjin allows it. After all, blood is blood. When Taeyoung finds out, he gets angry. If he didn't care about me or my brother all these years, why care about this grandson now? He also says his brother was just like his father, someone who leaves and never returns. Even so, he kept lying to himself, hoping his brother would come back. Hyunjin gently says, "Maybe your brother had his own reasons." That hits a nerve. Taeyoung snaps. "So all my suffering had a reason? Abandonment isn't justified by excuses. I thought you were on my side." Hurt, he walks away. The next day at the office, disaster strikes. Hyunjin's report overlaps with another company's file. Rumors spread that someone leaked ideas, and suspicion falls on her, the temporary worker. Some even gossip that she used Yesung to climb up. She overhears everything and breaks down. Yesung stands by her, hands her a handkerchief, and says, "You don't have to hide your feelings from me. I'm with you." The overlapping sections are removed. Taeyoung, who came to present photography results, overhears workers gossiping about Hyunjin. He feels guilty and apologizes for overreacting earlier. Now it's time to choose who will present the proposal. Initially, they want a senior employee, but Hyunjin worked the hardest. Yesung supports her and convinces the boss to review both proposals fairly. She's officially in the competition, and to win, she has to overwork again. One late night, Yesung drops her home. Taeyoung and Wooju keep calling her, but her phone is on vibration again. Her phone really lives in silent rebellion. She tells Yesung firmly, "This time, don't help me. I want to prove myself." Then she looks outside and sees Taeyoung and Wooju waiting. Wooju came to pick his aunt. Seeing them together again, Yesung seals that couple vibe one more time. Jealousy knocks politely, then kicks the door open. He says, "Clear this project. Best of luck. After that, we're going on a date." Direct hit. Taeyoung's heart just took emotional damage. Later, Taeyoung asks Hyunjin, "What do you feel about your ex? Do you like Yesung? Remember, I proposed too. I'm also a candidate." She blushes so hard she practically escapes using Wooju as a shield. At the office, when she falls asleep from exhaustion, Yesung covers her with his coat and refills her candies. When she wakes up, he lies, saying he's busy with overtime when he was really playing a game on his PC. Multitasking king. At home, Taeyoung takes care of her too, cooks her favorite food, listens to her worries, and helps with Wooju. When she tells him about the bullying accusations, he jumps up angrily. File a complaint, go to HR. His dramatic energy makes her smile. He suggests improving her presentation by adding foreign customer reviews through video. Coincidentally, he's going for a photo shoot with models from the same country where the product will launch. He invites her along. Daycare is closed for 2 days, and no one is available to watch Wooju. Finally, they think of his grandfather. Reluctantly, for Hyunjin's sake, Taeyoung allows his father to come and care for Wooju. They go to the shoot. Taeyoung looks confident and cool as a photographer. Hyunjin serves her dish to the foreign models and records their reviews, learning how to improve the taste for overseas markets. When their work ends, rain starts pouring. Taeyoung grabs her hand and runs to a shelter. For the first time, rain doesn't make him sad. Being with her changed that. Sitting close, their hands touch. Awkward, then warm. He says, "Whatever problem you face, I'm beside you." She replies, "Same to you. We'll support each other." Her presentation wins. The project goes to her team. Taeyoung excitedly tells Wooju, "Your aunt won. Let's celebrate." They buy her favorite cake and prepare everything. But as Hyunjin leaves the office, rain starts again. Someone stands there holding an umbrella for her. It's Yunsung. On one side, Taeyoung and Wooju wait to celebrate her biggest success. On the other, Yesung stands in the rain and says, "I love you." Now, who will she choose? Yeonjin standing dramatically in the rain. And not the cute K-drama drizzle, full emotional downpour. That's when Yeon-sung walks up to her and finally confesses. Yeonjin, obviously shaken, says, "This is so sudden." And my man Yeon-sung replies like he's been rehearsing this in the mirror for years. Sudden? It took me 7 years to say this. I love you. I don't want to watch you from a distance anymore. I want you in my life. 7 whole years. Sir, that is not sudden. That is a long-term emotional investment plan. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see Yuji and Taeyong waiting for Yeonjin. They had planned a little celebration for her. Cake ready, vibes ready, hearts ready. But Yeonjin calls and says, "I'm sorry, I'll be late. I suddenly have to go to a dinner." She has no idea they were planning to celebrate her. For her, it's just another day. The moment Taeyong hears dinner, his brain immediately replays, last time Yeon-sung asked her out. So dinner equals Yeon-sung? His mood drops faster than a network signal in a basement. He quietly hangs up. And yes, she is at dinner with Yeon-sung. She hasn't given him any answer yet. Yeon-sung tells her gently, "I don't need an immediate reply. I just wanted to be honest. But before you decide anything, give me a chance. Just 3 dates. Don't see me as your senior or college friend. See me as a man who wants to earn a place in your heart." 3 dates. Trial version activated. Yeonjin agrees. Later, Yeon-sung drops her home. She goes upstairs, a little restless, wanting to see Taeyong and Yuji. And there they are, sleeping peacefully. The same Taeyong who never allowed anyone into his room without permission is now sleeping with Yuji cuddled beside him on the bed. Things are changing fast. Next day, Yeon-sung is at work, but mentally still at that dinner table. His colleagues remind him about his tour schedule, but he's distracted. Our workaholic king, who has 0 dating experience, starts asking his colleague hypothetically, "Suppose, not me, but a friend, confessed to a girl and she felt uncomfortable. What does that mean?" The colleague replies in the most confusing way possible, something like, "Maybe she was nervous." "Is that good or bad?" Yeon-sung asks. The answer, even more confusing. Congratulations, now he's overthinking professionally. On the other side, Yeonjin is with her bestie, Baek. Baek says, "You are so lucky. 2 handsome men confessed to you. This is golden time. Enjoy it. Think carefully." Yeonjin is stressed. Whom to choose? What is she even feeling? With Taeyong, she feels comfortable, safe, like family. He has stood by her through everything. She's never nervous around him. But Yeon-sung, he's so perfect that she becomes nervous and reserved around him. And she convinces herself it's because he's perfect. Ah yes, the classic confusion between comfort and butterflies. Next day, she comes home and sees Taeyong eating instant noodles. She already had dinner, but still sits to eat a little with him. Then she spots a cake in the fridge. For what? Taeyong quietly says, "Yuji and I bought it for you. We wanted to celebrate yesterday." Her heart drops. "Why didn't you tell me? I would have come earlier." She takes his noodles and starts eating from the same bowl. Yes, same bowl, same spoon energy. We see you. The distance between them officially gone.
Next day, responsible Taeyong mode activated. At exactly 5 p.m., he goes to pick up Wooju. But when he reaches, he sees Wooju with his grandfather, Taeyong's dad, at the neighbor grandma's house. The grandfather is caring, attentive. He even bought seasonal juices to boost Wooju's immunity. Taeyong wonders since when did he become this caring? Meanwhile, Hyun-jin comes home late and finds an insurance agent there. Turns out, Wooju has a heavy insurance policy from his parents. As guardian, the money will go to Hyun-jin for Wooju's expenses. Hearing this brings back painful memories of her sister and brother-in-law. She makes an excuse about diapers and goes out to cry alone. But Taeyong follows with tissues. "The moment you stepped out, I knew you were going somewhere to cry. Don't hold it in. I'm here. You're lucky. You have a shoulder." And she cries because she's strong outside but shattered inside.
and Tae-young understands that pain. Next day at office, Yoon-sung gets good news. Temporary workers are being made permanent, and based on evaluation, Hyunjin has excellent points. Her dream is about to come true. In the elevator, they bump into each other. Literally, he catches her before she falls. First date officially begins. He takes her to a beautiful viewpoint, nature, long talks, and a lunch he personally cooked. Yes, Mr. Perfect is also a chef. He even says, cheesily, "Whenever I see this dish, I'll remember you and this date." Sir, please control the romance levels. Next day, Beck confirms the permanent job news. Celebration mode on. Tae-young also visits the office for work and overhears them planning drinks. Hyunjin hesitates because of Wooju, but Tae-young says they can go. Neighbor grandma and grandfather are helping, so 4 friends go out. Beck reveals 2 shocking facts. Hyunjin rarely gets drunk. She never cries. Tae-young feels quietly proud because he has seen both. Beck, slightly overdrunk, blurts out, "You two even slept together while drunk." Everyone, what? The awkwardness level through the roof. Later, Hyunjin feels indigestion. Tae-young uses a pressure point trick to help her. She just stares at him. But suddenly, emergency call. Wooju has rashes, strawberry allergy. Thankfully, grandfather noticed quickly and gave first aid. By the time they arrive, Wooju is fine. Tae-young finds his dad's wallet left behind. Inside is a photo of Tae-young. He returns it, says thank you for the first time. His father says, "I'm family, don't thank me." Later, father and son talk. Tae-young asks why he abandoned him. Father says he had debts and a bad reputation. He didn't want his problems affecting Tae-young. Now he has repaid everything and wants a chance. Emotional moment. Tae-young even gives the house passcode. Hyunjin overhears parts of this, but something feels off because what grandfather said about her brother-in-law doesn't match what she knows. Then another suspicious detail. The thief who was caught never admitted trying to break into their apartment, and someone, a middle-aged male guardian, has been repeatedly asking about Wooju's insurance. Grandfather fits that description. And then we see his true side. On a phone call, alone, he says, "Soon a large amount of money will come into my hands. I'll repay you." That tone, not gentlemanly at all. Next day, after dropping Wooju at daycare, Hyunjin suddenly remembers she forgot to turn off the gas valve and runs back home. Tae-young doesn't board the bus either. Meanwhile, grandfather uses the passcode to enter the house, goes straight to Wooju's mom's room, starts searching. Hyunjin reaches home, turns off the gas, and hears something fall. She opens the door, and grandfather lunges towards her. What happens next? Will this truth affect Hyunjin and Tae-young's relationship? Will she still feel safe with him? Or will Yoon-sung, the better option, win? When Wooju's grandfather is about to attack Hyunjin, but suddenly he stops and starts explaining himself. He says, "I have a right here too. After all, this is my son's house. This is his room. Even if I take something from here, what's the big deal? Family members are supposed to help each other." But Hyunjin gets really angry. She says, "So this is your real face. You came here to steal, and now you're also trying to claim the insurance money that belongs to Wooju." Grandfather shamelessly replies, "If you want to share, you can take it too. Wooju can take a share as well. We'll divide it into 4 parts." Talking about dividing money like it's some pizza order. Hyunjin tries to snatch the items back from him, but that makes him furious. He suddenly attacks her. Hyunjin gets injured during the struggle, and just as he's about to attack again, Tae-young enters the house. He immediately steps in front of Hyunjin like a shield and ends up getting injured himself while protecting her. Here, I request you to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you. In the next scene, Tae-young takes his father to the police station to get him arrested. Since the man already has a criminal record, the police arrest him immediately. They reveal that he has been involved in multiple fraud cases. Hearing all this, Tae-young feels deeply ashamed, but more than himself, he's worried about Hyunjin because she got hurt because of all this. Hyunjin is getting her hand bandaged. The injury isn't super serious, but she still had to take urgent leave from work that day. Meanwhile, at the office, everyone is confused. Yoon-song starts thinking about it too. Hyunjin suddenly took leave, and on the other side, Tae-young also refused to attend a meeting that he was supposed to join. Something clearly happened. At the police station, Tae-young meets one of his late brother's friends. The man introduces himself and says he attended his brother's funeral as well. He says, "There are some things your brother hid from you. I've been wondering for a long time whether I should tell you or not, but today I finally gathered the courage." When he tells the story, Tae-young learns the truth. His brother didn't abandon him because he was a burden. He left him in the orphanage to protect him from his father. Their father used to commit fraud and create trouble, and the home environment was never safe. Tae-young's brother was older, so he always protected him and handled everything himself. Eventually, he decided the safest place for Tae-young was the orphanage, where he could at least live peacefully. His brother even tried reporting their father several times and collected small pieces of evidence against him, hoping one day the truth would come out. The friend shows Tae-young some old files his brother had kept. In them are records and photos proving how much responsibility his brother had taken on his shoulders. Seeing all this, Tae-young finally realizes that his brother was never wrong. Even after they grew up, his brother kept his distance because their father would sometimes show up asking for money or causing trouble. He didn't want Tae-young's life to be affected. Now, when Tae-young sees everything clearly, he feels terrible. His brother carried everything alone, just so Tae-young could live a peaceful life. For the first time, Tae-young goes to his brother's room. The place is full of scattered belongings, and there he discovers something that completely breaks his heart. His brother had kept every photo of Tae-young carefully in albums. Not only that, when Tae-young grew up and became a photographer, his brother collected every single achievement of his and preserved it proudly in the album. So basically, the man Tae-young thought had abandoned him had actually been his biggest supporter all along. Meanwhile, when Hyunjin returns home, she wants to talk to Tae-young, but the moment she sees him, she realizes he feels extremely ashamed, so ashamed that he can't even look her in the eyes. He speaks briefly and then leaves the house, saying he wants to be alone. On one side, he feels guilty because Hyunjin got hurt because of him. On the other side, he feels even worse because he misunderstood his brother for so many years, and now that he finally knows the truth, his brother is no longer alive. That night, he drinks heavily with a close friend, someone he can share his feelings with. He also confesses something painful. He had secretly attended his brother's wedding once, but instead of wishing him happiness, he had cursed him in his heart, wishing he would never be happy. Now, remembering that moment makes him feel even more ashamed. He never even got the chance to say sorry. After that, Tae-young starts keeping himself extremely busy with work. He tries to finish 2 or 3 days worth of work in just one day. Even Amy Chu's husband is surprised and says, "You learned everything so quickly. Looks like I'll have to leave Amy's company soon. My excuse for staying here is about to end." Meanwhile, at Hyunjin's office, there's a celebration happening. The official notice has arrived. Hyunjin has finally become a permanent employee. Everyone is eating cake and celebrating. Someone notices that Hyunjin really likes this cake. She says, "This has always been my favorite." Then the colleagues start thinking, why did Yoon-sung make everyone stand in line earlier just to buy cake from this exact bakery? They also studied in the same college, so now everyone is like, wait a minute, something interesting is going on here. But during the celebration, a colleague accidentally touches Hyunjin's arm and she suddenly cries out in pain. That's when Yoon-sung realizes she has an injury on her hand. She had been hiding it under full sleeves for several days. Later, Hyunjin is sitting with her best friend Baek. She tells her that lately, Taeyoung has been acting very distant. He comes home late and barely talks to her. Baek says, "You guys are basically a family raising Wooju together. If he's feeling ashamed right now, you should be the one to step forward and talk openly." Meanwhile, Yoonsong approaches Baek and asks about Hyunjin's injury. Hyunjin had told him it was just a family matter, but he feels something isn't right. At first, Baek doesn't want to say anything, but in the end, she tells him everything. When the neighbors also hear about the incident, they are shocked. That man had looked so polite and respectable. No one realized his real nature. Everyone also feels sorry for Taeyoung. Lately, he looks extremely lost and has even lost a lot of weight. That evening, Hyunjin cooks dinner and asks Taeyoung to sit with her. She says gently, "We're family, right? We're raising Wooju together. You can tell me anything." But Taeyoung still remains reluctant. He looks so ashamed that he can't even look into her eyes. Even on holidays, he stays away from home most of the time. Poor Hyunjin has to take care of Wooju alone, and Wooju clearly misses his uncle. Just then, Yoonsong arrives. He helps Hyunjin take care of Wooju, and when she sees his chef-level cooking skills in real life, she's genuinely surprised. The three of them play with Wooju, take him to the park, and spend a nice time together. At the end of the day, Yoonsong finally reveals something he never told Hyunjin before. He says he also grew up in an orphanage. Taking care of younger children there used to be his responsibility, which is why he's so good at handling babies. Later, a rich and caring family adopted him, and he became their only son. After that, he worked hard and achieved everything in life.
Before coming to meet Hyunjin that day, Yoonsung had met Taeyoung and said something very serious to him. He told him, "Because of you, Hyunjin got injured. This is already the second time she's been in danger. Do you even realize whether you are protecting her or becoming a burden in her life? If you stay close to her, I'm afraid she'll keep getting hurt." Then he added, "If you really care about her, you should distance yourself from her." And maybe that is the exact reason why when Hyunjin had prepared dinner and tried to talk to Taeyoung earlier, he didn't try to explain anything to her. After that, Taeyoung goes to the jail to meet his father. The moment he sees him, he gives him a very clear warning. He says, "After you get out of here, don't ever show me your face again. And if I even hear that you went anywhere near Hyunjin or Wooju, I will kill you." But his father still behaves the same way as before. Instead of feeling ashamed, he scoffs and says, "What kind of times have come? A son talking like this to his own father." After that, Taeyoung goes to his brother's memorial. Standing there quietly, he says, "I'm sorry. You took care of me so much that I don't even have words to express it. I misunderstood you all these years. I just want to say sorry." And after that moment, Taeyoung makes a painful decision. He decides that he will leave Hyunjin and Wooju's lives because Yoonsung had convinced him that instead of being a support for them, he might actually become a danger for them. So he believes the best thing he can do is distance himself. One day, he tells Hyunjin, "I'm moving out today. I had said I'd stay for 1 month, but I already stayed longer than that." Hyunjin is shocked and hurt. She says, "But we're family, right? We were raising Wooju together." But Taeyoung replies bitterly, "Family? Do you know what family means to me? My father raised me and then abandoned me. Later, he came back only to rob us and harm the people around me. He even deliberately says a few harsh words to Hyunjin so that she would feel hurt and not try to stop him." After leaving, he returns to his own apartment. This was once his dream home, but now it feels completely empty. Instead of happiness, all he feels is loneliness. The person he misses the most is Wooju. Before leaving, he had secretly spoken to Wooju alone and said, "I'm not abandoning you. I'll still come to see you. We'll go on fun trips together. I'll always visit you. We're friends forever, and I'm your uncle. Don't forget that." Meanwhile, at BS Food Company, the team is traveling far away for a photo shoot. During the journey, the other colleagues fall asleep in the car. Hyunjin is also feeling sleepy, so Yoonsung gives her a candy to help her stay awake. He even feeds it to her himself.
Unfortunately for them, one half-awake colleague sees this moment and immediately starts imagining things like, wow, these two are definitely a couple. And, of course, the photo shoot is being handled by Amy Chu's company, where the main photographer is none other than Tae-young. When Tae-young arrives there and sees Yeonsung and Hyunjin standing together, they genuinely look good together. Even the colleagues start gossiping, saying, looks like these two are secretly dating, and honestly, who wouldn't want a perfect guy like Yeonsung? By now, a huge emotional wall has formed between Tae-young and Hyunjin. They barely even talk to each other. The photo shoot itself goes really well, but suddenly a small accident happens. Hyunjin is about to get injured, and two men rush forward to save her, but Yeonsung reaches first, takes the hit himself, and protects her. Later, everyone keeps praising Yeonsung, saying how well he protected her. Some even say, Hyunjin is so lucky to have a boyfriend like him. Hearing all this, Tae-young quietly steps aside, feeling even more miserable. Then something funny happens. Tae-young's colleague and Yeonsung's colleague start arguing. One insists Hyunjin looks better with Tae-young. The other says, no way, Yeonsung suits her better. In the end, the manager wins the argument and says confidently, you've been single all your life. I'm married. Married people know which couples have real chemistry. A few days later, there's a small event at Wooju's daycare where both parents are supposed to attend. Since Tae-young had always been acting like Wooju's second guardian, his name was also written there. Hyunjin thinks about inviting him, but then she gives up. His memories still hurt her too much. When she arrives at the event, she realizes it's actually a big celebration. Other kids have both parents, some even have grandparents there. They brought big bouquets and flashy gifts. But poor Wooju is standing there with just his Aunt Hyunjin and a small bouquet. He looks a little lonely. Hyunjin feels really bad for him. At one point, Wooju suddenly runs forward excitedly. Someone had come to attend the event especially for him, and that person is Yeonsung, who arrives right on time. Now, this becomes a very crucial moment in the story, because right now, it's still unclear who Hyunjin will end up with. Now, Yeonsung had arrived at the daycare function to support Hyunjin and cheer for Wooju. He actually found out about this event through Hyunjin's best friend, Baek. But Yeonsung wasn't the only one who came there. Someone else had also arrived, and that was Tae-young. However, the moment Tae-young saw Hyunjin and Yeonsung sitting together and looking happy, he felt like he would just become a third wheel. And let's be honest, nobody enjoys being the extra chair at someone else's dinner table, so he quietly turned around and left without letting anyone notice. Well, almost no one, because Yeonsung did see him leaving, but he deliberately chose not to tell Hyunjin about it. Tae-young already believed that Yeonsung was a better person and that Hyunjin would be happier with him. And to be fair, Yeonsung really was a very nice guy. He took great care of Hyunjin and Wooju. It almost felt like he was slowly replacing Tae-young in their little family picture. Meanwhile, on the other side, we see Amy Chu's husband, Moo-sung. Today, he looked extremely sad because their divorce papers had finally been completed and he had signed them. Earlier, they used to talk about divorce casually, but actually signing those papers made it feel painfully real. After the daycare event, Yeonsung even took Hyunjin and Wooju out for dinner. Wooju was happily enjoying the food, while Hyunjin once again thanked Yeonsung. She told him she would never forget his kindness. But Yeonsung replied, whenever you talk about repaying favors, it makes me feel like you're treating me like a stranger. While the three of them were sitting together and having dinner, someone else nearby was trying to deal with a broken heart. That person was Moo-sung. He was packing up his things at Amy Chu's office for the last time before leaving. It was clearly very emotional for him. Seeing this, Tae-young said to him, I think you still love Amy very much. Moo-sung replied sadly, but what difference does it make? I've already signed the papers, and it feels like Amy doesn't like me anymore. Even if I disappear from her life, it probably won't matter to her. The next day, he came to the office again, waiting for Amy. When she arrived, he told her, I'm leaving now. This will be the last time we see each other. He said goodbye and held out his hand for a handshake, But the moment Amy shook his hand, it suddenly felt like he had lost something extremely precious. Whether she liked it or not, he had become such a big part of her daily life that without him, things would never feel the same. Meanwhile, another small problem happened with Wooju. The grandmother who was supposed to pick him up from daycare suddenly got sick. She tried calling Hyunjin many times, but Hyunjin was stuck in a meeting and couldn't answer. So in the end, Taeyoung went to pick up Wooju. It had been many days since he last saw him, so he was extremely happy. He took Wooju to a bookstore, bought him toys and books, and then brought him to his apartment. And surprisingly, Wooju loved the place. The apartment was neat, clean, and filled with interesting little items. He couldn't stop exploring everything. And honestly, Taeyoung also felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Like the emptiness in his apartment had finally disappeared. He even read Wooju a storybook and took great care of him. Later, when Hyunjin finally called, Taeyoung took Wooju back home. After many days, Hyunjin and Taeyoung met again. They exchanged a simple hello. Taeyoung then mentioned that Wooju's grandmother had been suffering from back pain lately, so maybe he could start picking up Wooju from daycare regularly. Hyunjin agreed. Before leaving earlier, Taeyoung had taken all his belongings with him, but he had left behind one small thing, that cute lamp which had actually been the reason Hyunjin and Taeyoung met for the first time. And Hyunjin liked that lamp a lot. Meanwhile, Wooju had loved Taeyoung's apartment, but some decorative items there could actually be dangerous for a child. And now, for Taeyoung, Wooju had become more important than his own preferences, so he decided to replace those decorations with things Wooju would like. Looks like someone had officially entered Uncle Mode level 100. Next day, Hyunjin was running late while taking Wooju to daycare. When she stepped outside, she saw Yunsung waiting there. He offered to give her a ride so she wouldn't be late for work. He told her, "I just want to help you. If I wake up a little earlier and leave for the office sooner, it's not a big deal." But Hyunjin felt uncomfortable. She felt like she was piling up too many favors from him and didn't know how she would ever repay them. Meanwhile, Taeyoung had another thought. Since Musung was leaving soon, he wanted to give him a farewell gift, so he went to ask Amy what he liked. But the moment Amy heard this, she immediately sent him out of the room. Still, before leaving, Taeyoung told her that Musung's flight to the USA was on the 13th in the evening, and once he left, he probably wouldn't return. Amy pretended like it didn't matter at all, but deep down, she felt extremely lonely. Musung had always cared for Amy quietly, without making a show of it. Everything she needed would magically appear on her desk, from her schedule to reminders about what she liked to eat, to even notes about her allergies. He had even written all those details down for the other assistants. When Amy read those notes, she realized something shocking. Musung knew her even better than she knew herself. Meanwhile, BS Food Company had achieved huge success with their newly launched product. Because of this success, they decided to publish an interview in their in-house magazine. And for this interview, they invited Taeyoung because his photography had played a big role in making the product go viral on social media even before the official launch. During the interview, Taeyoung talked about how he started photography. He also mentioned his brother. He admitted that there was a time when he had completely given up photography. But then, a certain special person encouraged him to try again. And if that person hadn't advised him, he might have stayed far away from his passion forever. And that special person was none other than Hyunjin. Meanwhile, Hyunjin would often stay busy at work, while Taeyoung usually got off earlier, so he started picking up Wooju from daycare regularly. One day, when he dropped Wooju at his grandmother's house, he realized Wooju needed diapers that were still at Hyunjin's house, so Taeyoung went there to get them. But when he entered the house, he was shocked. The place was completely messy. Ever since Taeyoung had moved out, Hyunjin's life had become extremely difficult. Seeing the house like that made him feel worried. He wondered how she was managing everything alone. But when she finally reached home, everything was already clean and perfectly organized. And not only that, Tae-young had even cooked dinner for her. He left a message saying, "I worry about you. Please don't skip meals." Even though they were living separately now, whenever they ate alone, they couldn't help remembering the time when the three of them used to sit at the same table like a family. And because of those memories, sometimes they didn't even feel like eating at all.
Well, now, Taeyong had slowly started giving Uju even more importance than before. Whenever he went shopping, instead of buying things for himself, he first bought clothes and toys for Uju. Once, one of his friends even offered to gift him a beautiful glass furniture piece, but Taeyong immediately refused. He said no, not at all. This could be dangerous for a child. His friends were shocked. The moment they entered his apartment, it didn't even look like Taeyong's place anymore. It looked like Uju's apartment. Every corner had things chosen while keeping Uju in mind. Safe, colorful, and interesting for a kid. Hyunjin was sharing something with her best friend Baek. She said she didn't know how she could ever repay all the favors Yunsung had done for her. The more he helped and cared for her, the heavier she felt inside. Baek immediately understood the real issue and said, "If you truly loved him, you wouldn't feel like you had to repay him. You would simply return his feelings with love. But the reason you feel burdened is because deep down, you know you don't love Yunsung." And honestly, that was the truth. The next day, Hyunjin was supposed to go on her third and final date with Yunsung, after which she would decide what she truly felt for him. Meanwhile, something else was happening at Taeyong's office. One of Hyunjin's colleagues came there, and Taeyong also arrived to collect some documents. While talking on the phone, Taeyong mentioned that Musung would be leaving for the USA that evening and that he would go to the airport. But the colleague misunderstood and thought Taeyong himself was leaving the country forever. And just like that, the perfect recipe for a misunderstanding was ready. At the same time, Yunsung took Hyunjin to the orphanage where he had grown up. He still cared deeply for the children there. Honestly, Yunsung seemed like the definition of a perfect man. Caring, kind, loving, and handsome. But even with all those qualities, Hyunjin's heart still beat only for Taeyong. Meanwhile, Taeyong reached Amy Chu's office and noticed that Amy had been drinking. After all, Musung's flight was that evening and she couldn't face the reality of him leaving. There was an awkward distance that had built up over the years. Taeyong realized that if no one broke that wall now, they might regret it forever. So he told Amy, "Fix your makeup and come with me right now. I'll drive you to the airport. Otherwise, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Go and stop him." Meanwhile, at the orphanage, Hyunjin saw a child waiting for someone. That scene reminded her of Taeyong, how he used to wait for his brother when he was little. Just then, that same colleague called her about a document and casually mentioned, "By the way, Taeyong is leaving for the USA tonight." Hearing this, Hyunjin panicked. Taeyong leaving forever without even saying goodbye? She couldn't accept that. At that moment, it started raining. Yunsung was about to take her inside, but Hyunjin finally made her decision. She let go of Yunsung's hand, apologized to him, and ran away. Poor Yunsung just stood there in the rain, quietly watching her go. Deep down, he already understood where she was heading. Soon, Hyunjin reached the airport. There she saw Taeyong standing with a lot of luggage beside him, because he was actually there to drop off Musung, but Hyunjin misunderstood the situation. Before Taeyong could explain anything, she rushed to him and stopped him. "Please don't go," she said desperately. Taeyong tried to speak, but she continued, "Please don't refuse me. Don't push me away. I love you. Whenever I eat or go home, I see you everywhere." Taeyong tried to say something again, but before he could, Hyunjin suddenly kissed him. She said, "Please don't reject me. Don't leave me." This time, Taeyong kissed her back and said with a small smile, "Will you let me speak now? I'm going nowhere. I could never leave you and Uju."
Our main couple had just shared a kiss, which basically meant they were finally together. At the same time, Amy Chu nervously and a little shyly managed to stop her husband Musong from leaving. She told him, "Don't go. You love Korean food so much. If you go to the USA, you'll probably become too fancy and forget it all. Just come back." Hyunjin was honestly shocked when Musong walked away with all the luggage. That's when she realized the misunderstanding. Taeyoung wasn't going anywhere at all. Later, Taeyoung and Hyunjin returned home together. Taeyoung told her that it was actually a good thing she came to stop him, but even if she hadn't, he would have come to her himself. He said he felt miserable in that empty apartment. His whole life, he had lived in lonely houses where no one waited for him, but living with Hyunjin and Wooju felt like getting a completely new life. Their smiles, Hyunjin scolding him over little things, and Wooju's laughter filling the house, those were the things that made him truly happy. Now that they were finally together, they sat down and ate noodles. Taeyoung was acting extremely lovey-dovey. He insisted he could eat with one hand because he simply didn't want to let go of Hyunjin's hand. The next day, Hyunjin met Yoonsung and cleared everything honestly. She told him she used to like him and even had a crush on him before, but now she liked someone else. Yoonsung calmly said, "It's Taeyoung, right?" Hyunjin nodded. Yoonsung said he had already guessed from the way she looked at Taeyoung. Her eyes had a warmth for him that she never had for Yoonsung. He admitted that he had been jealous and even selfish at one point, but now he sincerely wished her happiness. He said it would take him time to move on, but he truly believed Taeyoung was a good man, and that Hyunjin and Taeyoung together would take good care of Wooju. Meanwhile, Taeyoung was getting one happy moment after another. That day, Wooju called him uncle, and Taeyoung was over the moon. But the moment Wooju's aunt arrived, Wooju immediately switched sides and ran to hug her instead. Poor Taeyoung was left standing there. Now the real competition had begun. Who loved Hyunjin more, Wooju or Wooju's uncle? Taeyoung got so emotional that he loudly declared he wanted to tell the whole world that Hyunjin was his girlfriend and how beautiful she was. Unfortunately for him, when he turned around, all their neighbors were standing right behind them listening to everything. Not a single one of them had missed the show. Hyunjin turned red with embarrassment, apologized to everyone, and ran inside the house. Wooju was standing there making a little mini heart with his fingers, like a proud spectator. Later, Hyunjin scolded Taeyoung for shouting like that, but Taeyoung just shrugged and said it didn't matter because their relationship wasn't meant to stay secret anyway. However, Hyunjin gave him one important rule. When he came to her office, he had to act like they didn't know each other. Their noisy couple video had already gone viral earlier, and she didn't want people thinking she had lied. Taeyoung complained that she was ignoring him and that it didn't even feel like they were a couple yet. Hearing this, Hyunjin quickly kissed him on the cheek. But when they turned around, they saw Wooju standing right between them, silently staring like a strict security guard. Apparently, it was diaper-changing time. Taeyoung sighed and said it felt less like Wooju was his nephew and more like he had suddenly gained a strict father-in-law. He said he would just have to wait until Wooju fell asleep to spend some romantic time with his girlfriend. Unfortunately for him, Wooju was extremely energetic that night and refused to sleep. In fact, while trying to put Wooju to sleep, Taeyoung and Hyunjin almost fell asleep themselves first. Still, one thing was clear. Both of them were truly happy now, and the biggest reason for that happiness was Wooju. Soon, Hyunjin received a notice from family court. If she wanted to legally become Wooju's guardian, she would have to go through an official process. That meant interviews, documents, and presenting a proper plan for Wooju's future. Hyunjin became nervous, but Taeyoung assured her that she wasn't alone. He helped her prepare everything: documents, interview answers, and plans. After all the preparation, he told her to relax and sleep peacefully. To cheer everyone up, they also planned a small outing that weekend because they hadn't gone anywhere in a long time. But, of course, nothing goes smoothly in their lives. On the way, they got lost because Wooju accidentally kicked the map out of Hyunjin's hands and changed their route. Eventually, they reached a restaurant hungry and tired, only to realize kids weren't allowed there. Hyunjin scolded Taeyoung again for the whole situation. Despite that, they continued their outing, took lots of photos, and Wooju had a great time. Seeing Hyunjin still a little nervous about the upcoming interview, Taeyoung gave her a 4-leaf clover for good luck. He joked that he already had 2 lucky clovers, which is why he was lucky enough to have Hyunjin as his girlfriend. Everything seemed perfect until something scary happened. While returning home, they stopped at a rest area to change Wooju's diaper. Taeyoung went to the car to look for something, and for just a moment, Hyunjin's grip on Wooju's hand loosened. When she looked again, Wooju was gone. Both of them panicked, but Hyunjin was completely terrified. They searched everywhere, asked people around, and finally informed the management office so they could make an announcement. A short while later, they received a call that Wooju had been found. When they rushed to the security room, they saw a middle-aged woman sitting there with Wooju. She scolded them for being careless and warned them never to let go of a child's hand in crowded places. Hyunjin was so shaken that she felt like she had almost lost the most precious thing in her life. Taeyoung comforted her, saying it had only been a small mistake and thankfully they found Wooju quickly. But the real problem was still waiting. The next day, Hyunjin had her official interview with a family court representative. Taeyoung waited outside, but when Hyunjin entered the room, she was stunned. The representative was the same woman who had found Wooju the day before. Their first impression had already gone terribly wrong. During the interview, Hyunjin explained everything, how sometimes she was late from work and neighbors or Wooju's uncle helped pick him up, and how they all took care of him together. Then Taeyoung was called inside too. They checked his background and discovered that his father was a criminal who was still in prison and even tried to steal Wooju's insurance money. Both Hyunjin and Taeyoung tried their best to explain that people learn from mistakes and that they were truly responsible for Wooju, but the representative remained very strict. Finally, she announced her verdict. According to her verdict, both Hyunjin and Taeyoung were unfit to become Wooju's guardians. And just like that, their world turned upside down. For Hyunjin, life without Wooju felt impossible.
So the officer had declared Hyunjin and Taeyoung unfit to be Wooju's guardians. But she also said that this wasn't the final decision yet. They still had one chance. Their house would be visited for inspection, more details would be collected, and only after that would the court give the final verdict. Still, the situation was risky because that same officer had to submit the report and investigation to the court, and in her eyes, they were already unfit. When Hyunjin and Taeyoung shared this news with their neighbors, everyone became worried. They felt really bad for Hyunjin, who immediately went into her room completely disappointed. But after a while, she gathered her courage and told herself that she would never give up on Wooju. Later, they found out that on the day of the house inspection, Taeyoung wouldn't be able to reach home on time, so only Hyunjin would be there. Taeyoung apologized and said he really wanted to be with her during such an important moment, but would arrive a little late. That day, Hyunjin went to pick Wooju up from daycare. Whenever she picked him up herself, Wooju would become extra happy. They returned home together. The next day, Taeyoung helped her clean the entire house. Everything was perfectly arranged before he left for work. Even though the house was sparkling clean, Hyunjin was still very nervous. While checking on Wooju, she realized he had a slight fever because the weather was changing. Even though it was a normal, seasonal flu for kids, Hyunjin got extremely worried. She checked the fridge for medicine, but saw that it had finished. She called the neighbor Nam for help, but she wasn't home either. Still, she suggested checking the first aid box for something useful. At that time, Hyunjin had opened the windows and doors to let the strong disinfectant smell out of the house, and in the few moments she was distracted looking for medicine, Wooju walked outside. He got a small injury near the door. And unfortunately, that exact moment is when the officer arrived for the house inspection. Hyunjin's luck once again turned terrible. Her second impression became even worse than the first. The officer spoke very harshly. She said neglecting a child or being absent when the child needs help is a form of child abuse. Immediately, she called the police and child safety officers. They separated Hyunjin and Wooju and informed her that until the investigation was complete, the child would be taken into custody.
Hyunjin completely lost control. She ran behind the vehicle, crying in the middle of the street, while the neighbors watched helplessly. When Tae-young returned from work and heard everything from the neighbors, he immediately rushed to the investigation office. Hyunjin was in shock. She kept crying and saying that she had only been distracted for a moment, and maybe she really wasn't a good guardian for Wooju. Tae-young comforted her, and their neighbors also supported her. One of the elderly grandmothers called Hyunjin to her house because she hadn't eaten for 2 days. The grandmother told Hyunjin that life is not always made by blood. The man who lives with her, whom everyone thinks is her son, is actually her son-in-law. Her daughter had passed away years ago, and since then he stayed with her, even though she had no one left. She told Hyunjin that life always has ups and downs, and children sometimes get small injuries. She encouraged her not to lose hope because she would definitely get Wooju back. Gathering courage, Hyunjin and Tae-young went to the child safety office and gave them all the details about Wooju, his sleeping time, his favorite toy, what irritates him, and even which diaper brand doesn't cause him rashes. Seeing how detailed and caring they were, the officers started thinking that a couple who truly abused or neglected a child would never behave like this. Tae-young then promised Hyunjin that when the officers visited their house again, they would be fully prepared. This time, they arranged the house perfectly for Wooju, installing baby cameras, safety protections everywhere, and even fencing parts of the house. Their neighbors helped them with everything. Their biggest help came when the neighbor mom called Hyunjin and said that their phone conversation from that day was recorded. It clearly showed that Hyunjin was actually searching for medicine for Wooju and sounded worried and almost crying. This proved she had never neglected him. Meanwhile, when Yunsung heard about the situation, he also wanted to help quietly. He contacted a lawyer friend who was an expert in such cases and asked him to file a petition. The lawyer prepared an extremely strong petition, including evidence and signatures from many people, Wooju's daycare teacher, neighbors, and others who interacted with him. Everyone shared their experiences about how lovingly Hyunjin and Tae-young cared for Wooju. This professional petition made their case much stronger. When the investigation was finally completed, it became clear that Hyunjin was not an abuser at all. Soon, Wooju was returned to her. The officers also visited their house, took photos, checked all safety measures, and reviewed the petition. They even noticed how Wooju's behavior had changed due to the temporary separation, which proved how emotionally attached he was to them. All of this confirmed that Hyunjin and Tae-young truly cared for him and deserved to be his guardians. When Wooju returned home, Hyunjin and Tae-young were overwhelmed with happiness. After everything he had gone through, Wooju immediately fell asleep in his own home, as if he hadn't slept peacefully for days. The next day was their court hearing. Their neighbors even came to support them. Finally, the court announced the decision. There could be no better guardian for Wooju than Hyunjin. And just like that, Wooju officially became theirs legally. When they came outside and shared the news with the neighbors, everyone celebrated. For them, Wooju was their entire world. Life slowly returned to normal. Tae-young admitted that he once thought he could never be responsible for anyone, but now he couldn't imagine life without Hyunjin and Wooju. They decided that Wooju should sleep in his parents' room instead of alone, since he was becoming emotionally stable. There was a big photo of Wooju's parents there, and Tae-young suggested placing a smaller photo of the three of them together beside it. Hyunjin smiled and asked if he realized what that meant, that they would stay together for life. Tae-young hugged her and said that was exactly his biggest wish. The next day at the office, Hyunjin met Yunsung, who told her he would soon move to the USA because their company had opened a new branch there. Before he left, however, Wooju's second birthday was coming up. When Hyunjin and Tae-young realized there were only 10 days left, they became both excited and nervous. Tae-young said this was the first birthday he would celebrate with Wooju as his uncle, so he wanted it to be unforgettable. He handled the venue and decorations with his friends, while Hyunjin planned the menu. Their neighbors also joined in enthusiastically. Some volunteered for cooking, some for entertainment, and even the neighbor mom baked the birthday cake herself. Hyunjin wrote a beautiful message for Woojin on the cake. Finally, the big day arrived. Wooju was dressed beautifully, and Hyunjin and Taeyoung both wore white outfits. They truly looked like Wooju's parents. All their close friends came. Amy Chu also attended and even gifted Wooju a gold ring. They also discovered that the neighbor everyone thought was jobless was actually a high-ranking officer taking a break. Yunsung also arrived, bringing Wooju a big toy car. The decorations were wonderful. Everyone brought gifts, and the atmosphere was full of love. Before Wooju could even cut the cake, the kids created some playful chaos, and the celebration started early. Everyone laughed and enjoyed the moment, while remembering how this whole story had started. Then Amy suddenly felt a little unwell, and it was revealed that there was going to be a new baby in her life too. And just like that, the story reached its happy ending. All thanks to a little baby named Wooju who turned two enemies into lovers. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.